So Fantasy is trying to move out here and take his mineral only, which I will say one thing: MVP has gotten himself he's got nice map control. He's on his opponent's high ground right there above the third, which is a great position to have on this map in virtually any matchup. Really, it's hard to push up that ramp, and they're gonna have to pay if they want to do it. And you'll notice MVP is using this map control to take the bottom right, and so he can have 3 gas, whereas Fantasy is only gonna have 2 geysers. So obviously that's not good for Fantasy. And Fantasy is he's pushing right on out with these siege tanks, and really there's not a lot MVP can do to stop him. He's only got vultures, and they're somewhat outranged by the siege tank. That is a Wraith who is taking lots of damage and not doing anything. Wraiths are like paper planes already, so you don't want to take extra hits on them when you don't have to. Was he even producing a second Wraith, or did he just make the starport for 1 Wraith and then is giving up because Fantasy already has Goliaths? I don't know. Finally, some tanks in siege mode coming out from MVP, and we're going to see this is pretty much like right down the middle. Fantasy's a little bit closer to MVP's base, but it doesn't really change much. I think Fantasy has a pretty sizable tank count lead, though. It seems like we've only seen like 2 or 3 tanks out for MVP. There's finally a 4th coming up here. Well, that was exciting. Something died there from a mine, but we don't get to see what it was. It was probably a tank, and Fantasy's might lose another tank if he's not careful. And he's going to use his vultures and a scan to clear out these mines, I think. Or maybe, I think he is. I heard scan going down, but maybe he doesn't know about those mines. And now Fantasy, with just confidence, you're coming up and taking the upper left. That'll put him a base up on MVP. And wow, MVP's position just gets destroyed. I don't think Fantasy lost a tank, and MVP lost all of his. I don't know how that happened. I suppose that's why MVP is 37% win rate. And Fantasy's going to have the upgrade advantage here momentarily if he doesn't ready. He went for that early armory. And you notice MVP's army we just saw just went down. Yeah, Fantasy's got +1, so it's going to help his tanks kill, well, everything, even more than normal. Bye-bye SCVs. And this just looks terrible for MVP. Fantasy's vultures are destroying his economy, and while that's happening, Fantasy is using his siege tanks to push, and MVP can't be in both places at once. That ramp right there, I hate that ramp. Trying to destroy any units late game sitting on top of that ramp, extremely difficult. As MVP is watching his tank not be able to kill the vultures fast enough to force his way up there. And now, this is not where you want siege tanks. Right in front of your natural on that low ground there. It's position Terrans and Protoss, really, with Psystorm can abuse, and now there's no mining. There's no mining at MVP's third, there's no mining at his natural. This is pretty much over. It was really just methodical from Fantasy. He didn't really do anything. He just sort of casually took his bases and then moved out and just made MVP, well, not look like the MVP. So I won't lie, the top YouTube comment when I opened this up, which I can unfortunately see because my browser window is the wrong size, the top YouTube comment was, well, it looks like siege tanks plus vultures beat just vultures. And upon seeing that, I thought, crap, Fantasy is going some sort of crazy vulture strategy and he's gonna lose. So it's interesting to see that he has not done that and has indeed not lost. There's only one SCV mining gas up there for some reason. I can't see why that would be beneficial for fantasy, and he's just pushing right on in here with impunity. There are no vultures for MVP, and tanks without support are not so strong. Fantasy's not even bothered trying to mine these tanks, he's just shooting them with vulture fire until they die. So yeah, this is pretty much over, I think, at this point. I don't know what those SCVs think they're doing, but they're not getting anything done. Finally, some more tanks from MVP, but they're trying to take the high ground back from fantasy, which is not something you want to be doing when you don't have drop ships. And speaking of dropships, there are 2 for fantasy, as if he needs more overwhelming force to seal this. This is just an exercise in futility at this point. MVP has no chance. So, we're just waiting for him to GG, as he loses all of his units to pretty much vulture fire. And there it is. GG. So, set 2, 0, best, outsider. Let's go there.